Bengals Vikings coming up on this episode of Orange is the New Black podcast. Let's get into it.
Hello, world. What separated your deep ball from everybody else?
My deep ball, it has a little secret sauce to it, man.
Never get too high, never get too low, but just keep moving.
The whole story is Carlos never beat me in any kind of sports in high school.
Welcome to the Orange is the New Black podcast. I'm your host, Ace Boogie, joined by my co-host, Zim. Zim, say what's up.
Hello, world. How's everybody going? We got a big game coming up. I'm really excited. I think you guys, we went through a roller coaster of emotions this past Sunday, and I think there's still a little bit to talk about in that game. What you think?
Yeah, man, we could definitely talk about it. I think as we were kind of talking before the show, a big thing that I think was the big consensus that everyone is talking about, right, is the kicking, the decision from Zac Taylor to kick, the plays leading up to the kick. So what were your thoughts, I guess, essentially on the kicking situation? Do you trust Evan McPherson in that situation? Do you feel like Zac should have put him in a better, I guess, spot? Should he have had better plays? Should he have taken the kicks at all? What were just your thoughts on the end of the game and what Zac Taylor should have done or what he could have done, or did he do the right thing? All right. Well, I'll go ahead and give my thoughts on it. I think, was it perfect? No. I think that there were things that Zac Taylor could have done differently, obviously, in the situation. But I think from his mindset, and I feel like I kind of played devil's advocate on Twitter here, like when you think about their decision to draft Evan McPherson, I felt like that was a big part of it, right? Because when he drafted him, he said, this is a guy that we think can win us games. And that's why they justified the pick of picking him in the 5th round, right? And, given the circumstances, I think that he had a lot of trust in him. Now, I think sometimes I kind of got confused with, like, the order of the kicks, because there was one where a lot of people thought that he could have kicked. There was the actual kick that he had before the end of regulation, and then there's the kick in overtime. So for me, the only one that I kind of scratched my head on personally was the one that I really kind of questioned was the one before the end of regulation, just because if you miss that one, you're giving the ball back to Aaron Rodgers, and he was in a position where he didn't have timeouts. He would have had to drive the whole length of the field, and then you take a 57-yard field goal. I could understand it a little bit, but I was like, man, this is pretty risky because you're giving it right back to Aaron Rodgers, and all he has to do is make one or two passes to be able to line it up and do it. And that's essentially what ended up happening. Now, the other one, I feel like on those plays, I felt like Mixon had the first down, right? But he didn't. And I think from where Zac was coming from is it's a 49-yarder. I know I have Evan McPherson. This kid has been kicking 57-yard field goals in the preseason. We set him up for a moment like this. He's had 2 games where he's had walk-off kicks. I think he just trusted Evan in that situation to come away with it rather than going for it on 4th and short. And I feel like the Green Bay really honestly kind of did the same thing, except however, they had a 4th and inches with Aaron Rodgers, and their kicker had already missed 3 field goals. I think, I don't know if it's 2 field goals and an extra point or 3 field goals, whatever it was. He missed 3 kicks, and he still was able to pull it out. So I feel like Zac just really trusted Evan in that situation. And I think that's why he went with it. What were your thoughts, Zim?
I'm sorry about that, man. It was just the dumbest. If you guys are listening to this on the podcast, the dumbest thing ever happened. My favorite drink is cream soda. I don't like soda, but for some weird reason, I like cream soda. I spilled it on my mouse, so I couldn't close the box. So that's why I couldn't respond. My hand was sliding, but the mouse wasn't responding. All right. There's so much to unpackage with the whole kicker thing, but I'm going to take it a little bit deeper, and this is the analysis that I don't think you would get from any other Bengals fan or any other podcast, and I think that's why you guys are here. The psychology behind a rookie kicker and kicking game-winning field goals is a delicate one that you got to, as I rewatch the game, there's some key moments in the game. There were 2 different points where you probably weren't seeing this or you weren't paying attention. There's 2 different moments in the game where I'm watching this and I'm internalizing this, where Zac should have kicked a field goal early in the game, where if you did miss a 57-yard field goal, it doesn't matter. if Aaron Rodgers comes back down the field and does work and kills you later on, because you still got whole 3 quarters to come back. He had 2 instances where he was on the Packers 40-yard line and he elected to punt. So you already said, already starting out, you're a coochie, right? So at the beginning of this, Evan McPherson in both of those instances is already getting his stuff to run out. They're showing him on the sideline. Zach already is iced this kicker in my mind. This is not an attack on Zac Taylor. This is not saying Zac Taylor lost the game. But in my mind, he's already iced the kicker because he had 2 golden opportunities. When you're playing Aaron Rodgers, you have to score points. You don't have the luxury of getting to their 40 and playing. That's the big mistake. So then later on in the game, we get to the point that we're talking about the 57-yarder. In that drive, Uno gets the first down, right? Hold on. I'm confusing it. I'm confusing it with the 49.
Yeah.
The one where he's got the 57, 20-something seconds left in regulation. Evan could kick and make this field goal. At that point, right then and there, his kicker is already iced and cold. He's only been kicking 3 extra points in this game. No kicker type stuff, right? He then brings him out there, and in the play calling before he gets to that yard line is not good. And instead of him, and while I'm doing my live, I'm saying, bro, punt. I mean, not punt. Go for it. Go for it. Just get him closer. You got 27 seconds left, and I think 1 timeout. Get him closer. If you don't get him closer, I didn't feel good about the 57. My good friend Ryan McKeon is in the audience tonight. He was at the game. He has continuously said there was not win. Not Mason Crosby, but whatever his name is, Crosby, the kicker for the Packers, went on record after the game to talk directly to Evan McPherson, and he even said, I couldn't judge the win over there at Paul Brown Stadium. So I know you guys sitting in the stands, many people have told me it wasn't windy. The flags on the goalposts are moving, and we're seeing that at home. So I don't know if the wind was just not gusty enough to chap your lips, but sir, it was windy. And it was windy enough that you can't be kicking 57-yard kicks for a rookie kicker and asking him to do that much at that spot. And I just thought the timing of it and the psychology was wrong. And the plays that were leading up to it, he didn't set him up for success. I think he should have got him a little bit closer, clock the ball, and then maybe we're talking about a 50-yard field goal, and then that thing hits, and it just makes the kicker feel good. When we get to the overtime part, same thing. Uno gets the catch on the sideline. Then they run 3 straight run plays. On the 3rd run play, right? That's the one where Mixon goes and he does get the first down. This is another Zac Taylor error. He should have called timeout because he can't review it in overtime. He should have called timeout so that they can at least review the spot. Even if they didn't give him the first down, why set him up after Uno has that real good catch on the sideline? Why would you just run 3 straight run plays and give him 7-8 yards or something? 9 yards, because it was really 10 yards. It was a whole length ahead on the first down. I would have went for it right then just to get ahead, to go get our kicker another 7-8 yards. Callahan after the game then says, oh, well, we were scared that we might turn the ball over or anything like that. Bro, we are like 10 minutes into overtime. What are you scared for, sir? Go get your kicker some extra yards, line it up in the middle hash. We boom that thing through and go home. Why did you make it so difficult for him for the 49-yarder? Now, this is where I tie back to you. You are 100% right to say that this guy should hit those kicks. I just think that they didn't give him – it's like giving a child resources to succeed in life. I don't feel like they gave this child, Evan McPherson, enough resources in these instances based on the circumstances that led up to it to make this thing be like what it was. In my gut, as I was watching those kicks, on both of them, I said they're off. Like, just because I'm watching all of this play through, the psychology of him watching another kicker get his field goals missed, and you got to set him up and give him something a little bit better than that. There's only one Justin Tucker. There's only one.
Right. I think, like you said, going back to those plays, so I tried to pull them up real quick. And like you said, it was the run play. The only passing play on that drive was to Jamar Chase, right? They started off with, I think it looks like a draw to Perrine. He got 10 yards there. And then, like you said, they went with the 3 straight runs. Before that, it was the same thing on the 3rd down. It was scared. It was 2 runs to Perrine. 2nd and 10, or no, it was a pass short to Perrine, and then it looks like it was a run on 3rd and 5 that got 3 yards, and then they called the timeout, and then Evan McPherson tried to go ahead and kick it. I think like that's what my mindset was like when they made the decision to run it. Like if you notice in each one of those plays, and this is the thing that's the common factor I think in on any of those. When you look at the previous drive before both of those plays, if I'm not mistaken, or with actually not before the one before regulation was over, but if you look at the one in overtime, it was immediately after Joe Burrow threw the bad pick. So I could see why they would be like, they were worried about ball security, and the linebacker after the game said that he knew something. He knew like the way that he was able to pick it off was he knew that the Bengals did this one thing if they were throwing a screen.
Right.
So I think from that perspective, if they would have called a screen, like imagine if they call a screen on 4th and 1 or whatever it is, and he already knows what it is. Right. I think that they were just worried about, what if we don't get this? And I think they were just like, well, we got Evan.
Right. And he should hit. I think Evan thus far this year hasn't really let us down. You know what I mean? For the most part, he missed the kick in the Jaguars game, but he's already done more than what a lot of people have done. And I'm not mad at him at all. And I think a lot of people were blaming Evan McPherson. It is very simple to say, he's got to hit the field goals. And I do agree with that sentiment. There is a purist inside of me that believes that. I do want to touch on one thing real quick because there is no right or wrong in that argument. I just think this. Zach is going to take on a lot of criticism every time that there's a loss. I want everybody to understand this. Zach could go all the way to the Super Bowl. You feel me? This is how crazy this will get. He could take us all the way to the Super Bowl, and if we were to lose that game, everybody will say, "Well, if we had Andy Reid or whoever, I told y'all he was a failure." People will ride that all the way through. I might even go as far as to say Zach could win a Super Bowl, and people might say he should get 2 or 3. Now, do I think that Zac Taylor is an elite coach? No. But a lot of times I think some of my messages, like the one that I was just saying, I'm saying things from my perspective on what I would do. I don't want people to take this as this is a shot at Zac Taylor. Just like I was very critical on them even throwing plays to Drew Sample or P. Ryan. And it's not because, and I think it was Jake or somebody online or somebody like that caught my attention that said that, well, P. Ryan had a really good game. Don't be critical of him. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the reason why I'm so locked in on this MIGOS thing on Uno, Boyd, and Higgins is because it doesn't take an elite coach. It doesn't take. It reminds me of one of a football team I was on before. The players we had were just better, and our coach was just cool, and he let us do our thing. And that's what I'm kind of banking on when I talk about what Zac Taylor. And a lot of people got to buy into that he's never going to be Andy Reid or whatever you think he might be. But my point is this, is that people have to get accustomed to, if we're going to talk about our better athletes, we have to utilize them. So it's not a shot at saying P. Ryan should never get run catches, but you're helping the opposition when you throw to P. Ryan. By you throwing to P. Ryan, it makes linebackers so much easier. I can make a mistake, and I know I can catch up to P. Ryan. Same thing with Drew Sample. The play design was amazing on the Drew Sample things. He drops it. Everybody makes mistakes. We saw Higgins drop a pass later on. But you're helping the opposition, Zachary, every time that you throw the ball to them because it's this simple. 9 times out of 10, Higgins, Boyd, and Uno, Uzama, Mixon go out for a pass in any regard. I have a better athlete, and me making it very hard on the opposition. Any of those snaps, any of those targets that you take away from them to give to Drew Sample or P. Ryan, you're doing a disservice to your drafting philosophy, and you're doing a disservice to your offense. That same pass to P. Ryan might have gone to Uzama and gone for 20, 30 yards. We just saw him have a beast of a game last week, but you're wasting resources, and you're not utilizing the players correctly. Sample on tape currently isn't even really blocking that well. So if we're talking about the offensive deficiencies in this offense, they got to pay attention to this stuff, Zachary. I told Elise this. Until he gets me to where I need to go, He's not Zach. I'm gonna call you what your mama call you, Zachary, and you better prove it. Cause I had a sleepless night the other night, and I'm watching all 22, and I'm sitting at home. What are you doing, Zachary?
Oh nah, I think Zach definitely not getting any sleep after that game to lose to the Packers. But let's talk about the Lions game and what we are looking forward to. I guess in this game, it's going to be a game of Zac Taylor versus Dan. What's his last name? Like he's the head coach for the Lions.
Oh, that crazy dude.
I forget what his name is exactly. You guys will help us out in the comments. There's no disrespect. I know the dude. I know the dude. I'm not a big fan of his head coaching, but
Campbell.
Dan Campbell. Thank you. Dan Campbell. Both of them are young coaches. They both used to be on that staff together. I believe Dan Campbell was the interim coach in Miami when Zac Taylor was on that staff, so I am aware of him a little bit. But it's going to be the Bengals versus the Lions at Detroit on the road. The one thing that I'm looking forward to in this game is that this team will be able to play, and the offense will be able to play in a dome. Now, I don't know what the science says and what the percentages are, but obviously when you have an explosive offense and they get to go in there and not have any weather factors like wind or anything, rain or anything like that, it allows guys to just really honestly let it loose. So I'm excited to see what Joe Burrow can do in a dome, how he can take advantage. And I'm looking for this offense to really take that next step. I don't think that the Detroit Lions are a pushover, but I don't think that we need to come in there, just expecting to just say, hey, let's just squeak a win out against the Lions. I think that this needs to be a statement game for the Bengals offense because they have had struggles where they have yet to cross the 30-point threshold this season. And I think that this is a game that really lines it up for you, even though it is on the road. It lines it up for the environment, the caliber of team, a team that struggles against the pass on defense, right? A team that struggles defensively, period. Now, from an offensive perspective, even though the Lions don't have many weapons, I think that this is it fits in perfectly with the Bengals situation right now, with Trey Waynes going down with a hamstring injury, with them being short at the cornerback position, because this is a team in the Lions that don't have names at the wide receiver position that you're really going to be familiar with.
The worst wide receiver core in football history.
It has to be in the league. It has to be in the league. And then you talk about the matchup. Obviously, we had the civil war of Panay versus Chase. So you're going to get Panay versus this Bengals defensive line that could potentially get Khalid Kareem back. That's not verified, right? They still have to determine when Khalid Kareem is going to return back to the lineup. But you're going to get this Bengals defensive line that was able to get some pressure after Aaron Rodgers, and he's going to be going against Trey Hendrickson. And Panay has had some struggles at points in this season, so that's going to be big. The trenches are going to be big. But essentially, to me, this has to be a game where the Bengals hit that 30-point mark. I think, they got to win, and I think it has to be a convincing win. And no, I'm not taking the Lions lightly or anything. I know that they're playing hard for Dan Campbell. I know that's what it is. But at the end of the day, you just went toe-to-toe with the Green Bay Packers. You are one of the top teams in the NFL. You should come into this game and win this game convincingly. And no game is going to be perfect, right? But you should look to get back on track, especially with the game looming next week. Zen, what are your thoughts on the Lions?
I think, it's so crazy. I just thought about, what if Sewell and Jamar Chase do a jersey swap?
That would be insane. That would be insane.
That's a cool photo. What I was going to say, for the most part, I just think that the Lions cornerbacks, again, we have another week where cornerbacks are – you're going to see that every week, though. It's like Jamar Chase is like when we had the whole – Team Sewell versus Chase, what was the number one thing I said? Man, there's not enough teams in the NFL that can match up with the three guys one-on-one. The game plan every week, like scrap everything. Just scrap it, Zachary. Scrap the whole thing. I'm going to come out and Joe pre-read what I'm saying. When you guys watch live games with me, I'm able to identify who is going to get the one-on-one matchup. And Joe, throw it to that guy. If he gets you 2-3 yards, I promise you, they won't do it consecutively over and over again. Just give it to the best, the MIGOS and Uzama and mix it, and just that's the game plan. That is it. And it sounds a little crazy because people are like, well, it's a team game. You got to give it to everybody else. But not every single team has this premium level wide receivers at the top. When they try to show you stuff online, they show you stuff. What are on wide receivers? They always show you duos. I was looking at a PFS stat or something like that. They're trying to tell you about Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. They're going to take over the lead. That's a duo. But they don't understand that we have a trio of guys that are just as capable. Like it's a super unicorn, and people just don't want to hear this conversation because it's so unlike anything ever. And we've done it in our Bengals history before, but we've never done it like first round, second round picks, and these guys 21 years old, like at the prime of their careers. We got lucky with Ocho Cinco and Chris Henry's of the world and stuff like that. But these guys right now are ready to go. And you're doing a disservice to them by taking away any targets. I think it's really weird that they don't come in and say every 24 of your passes, Joe, go to these three guys. That is the game plan, and it's super simplified, but it's just the corners for the Lions cannot handle that. They can't handle attrition of just every single snap of the game being able to cover him. Jamar Chase is the #1 wide receiver against one-on-one coverage in the National Football League with a perfect grade of a 158 rating. It is the highest. If you don't come into the game the same way the Packers just did Devontae Adams and give him 15, 16 targets, and he's balling like how he just balled this past week, you don't know what it takes to win in the National Football League. We watched the Steelers do it to us for years with Antonio Brown. You give it to your best players and let them make it happen. You don't want to put that much pressure on Joe. Call up screen after screen for whoever you want, and that's what it is. Going into the lineups, TJ Hawkinson is banged up. They also have their tackle, Taylor Decker also. He practiced, I think, limited today. We're recording this on a Wednesday, so I'm not sure if he's going to play. But they have some bangs, some bumps and bruises. But Hawkinson didn't practice today with a knee injury, so that would be key if they didn't have him. If you guys play fantasy football, DeAndre Swift is one of the best running backs in fantasy football. A lot of this is garbage time stuff. But if they think that A.J. Dillon getting the ball in the flat was something last week or whatever, when we played them, last week, right? If they think that's something, DeAndre Swift will do you something way dirtier than that. Get him out in open field, and you better have some guys that can tackle. So that's one of my major keys is that somebody's seeing something on tape where they feel like they could test the Bengals on the perimeters, and DeAndre Swift is a guy that just like the kid from the Steelers, what's the running back? Najee Harris, yeah. Same type of build, same elusiveness, and same strength. The only difference is Ben didn't have the arm to throw it downfield, which Goff doesn't do very often. I think that could be an issue for the Bengals, but it would be a major key if Hawkinson wasn't there, although we have been doing pretty well guarding tight ends this year. But their Lions fans will tell you, their corners are booty, and we need to come out there and go to them guys. And I know some of these people, this is the thing. You could go up 14 points and you don't got to throw it no more. Now you let Joe mix it. Now you run 3 straight. You see what I'm saying? Now the clock's in your favor. Where did you go to coaching school on some of this stuff, Zachary? It's just like you're acting like this is December. We're not there yet. This is the time where you go get the yards. My man Will Lutz pointed this out. Shout out to him. This is the exact same time last year that caught his stride. Joe Burrow caught his stride. The same time, week 6 of last year. I think he had a good tweet I was reading. I wanted to pull it up.
Frank Ragnow is also out this game as well.
Frank Ragnow is on IR, I think, right?
Right.
He's going to IR. Huge. So, these guys are no chumps. They took Ravens and I think the Vikings to the limit. So, I know they're 0-5, but it is what it is. But they have to come out and say, look, this is the game plan. We're going to these guys that we have a better matchup. Joe Burrow, go find us that better matchup. Okay, the coverage isn't what I thought it was. Okay, check down. Let's throw some of this to Mixon now. Let's throw some of this to Chris Evans now, right? Because last week should have been the Chris Evans game. Maybe one of those P. Ryan rushes instead of 8 yards, maybe that goes 12 or 15 yards with Chris Evans. How would you know? And that's another good point the last point I have, I guess, is that P. Ryan and Jackson Carmer both are currently in COVID protocol. So right now, Chris Evans has been elevated to the second running back. So he should be who we think he is this upcoming week. And also, Deontay Smith he should be getting the start for Jackson Carman, who allowed 7 pressures on Joe Burrow last year. You know who that's getting into territory of? Mike Jordan territory, which was the worst offensive line guard in PFF history last year. So these are some of the major points. We don't want to create the same mistakes. I'm actually thrilled to see Deontay Smith and see what he could do against a lesser opponent. And let's see what we come out of it. But the key is to jump out on them and air it out quick, early, and make it happen. One real quick. And when they go into the 5 wide sets, teams are they're coming in on them because they know that Joe Burrow just wants to throw these quick sets. They got to air it out and take some deep shots early in this game to make the safeties get back and relax on his covers, because that's why the 5 wide, I think, isn't working like they want, because Joe is doing it quick. When I go back and watch these games, the first 5 drives of last week, 4 of those were 3 and outs because they're going 5 wide. So what do we say? We want them to be aggressive. We want them to be aggressive, but they're keying in on the fact that, yeah, you're being aggressive with your throwing game and you're not running, but you're throwing short and you don't have the pocket time to go get it. So they need to go ahead and move the pocket, just like Aaron Rodgers. We put that pressure on him. Cam Sample had 2 big pressures last week. Khalid Kareem maybe might suit up. He retweeted me on Instagram just now. He said he's ready. I don't know if he's going to be ready to play, but he's clear to practice, right? If we're putting pressure on them, good teams move the pocket. When we put pressure on Mayfield, they move the pocket. So the Bengals have to go and take a clip out of all these oppositions and all these other teams that we're playing and move the pocket to get Joe on the move. If the first read isn't there, go to your second, get the ball away, slide if you have to. Don't take another shot like that again this year, Joe Burrow, because like Aaron Rodgers said, your future is too bright to be doing that.
Nah, that's facts. I did see some people in the comments saying that they want the same kind of interaction that we have on AFC North Talk with you guys. Super chats are open on me and Zim's channel. So next time or in the future, if you ever want something guaranteed to be read, be sure to hit us with a super chat. You just go into the chat box. And I think there's a $sign or something like that. That will guarantee that we'll interact with you guys. We don't want you guys to think that we're not paying attention or anything like that, just trying to get our thoughts out. But that will guarantee or increase your chances of us seeing it, because it will be in a different color and it will stand out. Right. But as you guys are listening, thank you guys for listening to the Orange is the New Black podcast. This weekend, we're going to do a recap show, but Zim won't be able to do it because my man is getting married. So congratulations to him on 10/17. There will be no stream on his Instagram. So guys, do not blow up his phone looking for it. My man is about to tie the knot. So congratulations to him and his future wife. We're going to let them do that. He will be back and I will be back. Well, so I'll do a recap and then he'll be back and we'll still recap the game and probably look at the preview for the next upcoming game after that. So
we're going to try to plan for that. We're going to try to plan for that Tuesday.
Yeah, that sounds good. So about Tuesday, be on the lookout for that. We'll get it back to you. And also, we're going to try to redo the episode, or I'll at least redo the audio for the previous episode and get Zim's half up on there. We know that you guys have been asking for it, so we'll get that on there as well. And then, of course, shout out to our sponsor, Midwest Best Barbecue. I'm still thinking about those brisket fries right now.
Damn,
I'm still thinking about that half sweet tea, half lemonade combo. It was crazy.
Man, I did a juice cleanse because I'm trying to lose some weight for my wedding. Immediately, I came off of the juice cleanse and I went and tried to go get like some chicken wings and stuff, thinking I could recreate Midwest Best Barbecue in my mind. It's not possible. You have to go to Midwest Best Barbecue to just get the best wings, G-Funk wings, brisket fries, and get all of these amazing. The menu is insane. Like, we're not even talking about the ice cream and the creamery that they have as well.
We haven't even gotten to the ice cream yet. That's the craziest part. But
they're lucky they caught me on a diet, bro, because I would have went in the kitchen and just ate every single thing. They caught me at the right time. I swear to goodness.
Nah, that's facts. Ira for $2 says congratulations, Zim. Much love from Pittsburgh. Will C says congratulations, blessings. Lashana Thomas says congratulations. Everybody's getting it going, but thank you guys for tuning in. And of course, we'll have to end this with a yes, sirski.
Hello, world. What separated your deep ball from everybody else?
My deep ball, it has a little secret sauce to it, man.
Never get too high, never get too low, but just keep moving.
The whole story is Carlos never beat me in